Everyone, welcome to this episode of Versus. This is the Outdoor Gear Review, and what I have today are two very similar stoves. This is the Soto Wind Master. This is the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. Both of these stoves feature regulators, 11,000 BTUs versus 10,400 BTUs. Which one is the better stove? In this episode, we will go over boil times, functions, features, stats, and in the end, I'll share my thoughts. Let's go ahead and get started. When it comes to deploying these stoves, let's start with the Wind Master. So you have the adjuster right here. You have the pot supports up on top. You can see this red button right here. That is the igniter for this stove. It's a very simple stove. That does have one really cool feature. The pot supports can be removed and replaced with a smaller 3-pronged pot support, which is excellent for lightweight backpackers. With the Pocket Rocket Deluxe, it is similar but yet different. The legs are attached to the stove itself and they fold out. They rotate up, just like that. You have the adjuster here, a piezo igniter here. As you all can see here, these stoves are very similar. You have the Wind Master and you have the Pocket Rocket Deluxe. Let's go over some information. The weight of the Wind Master is 3.1 ounces. With the Pocket Rocket Deluxe, 2.9 ounces. Both feature the exact same sort of stove head design, which includes an integrated windscreen. Size-wise, these stoves are very similar. With the Wind Master, you're looking at 4 inches tall, and it is 5.7 inches wide with the pot supports. With the Pocket Rocket Deluxe, you're looking at 3.5 inches tall and 3.75 inches wide. So now that we've taken a look at these two little stoves, you can see just how similar they are. They both have pot supports, 3 for the MSR, 4 for the Soto, but there is a 3-legged version for the Soto, which I do not have. You have to buy that separately here in the United States. The weight is almost the same, size is almost the same. They both have adjusters, they both have igniters, they both have regulators. Now, speaking of the regulators on these stoves will, in theory, make sure that the performance stays the same, whether you're using a brand new fuel canister or one that's going empty. If you're in really hot conditions, it performs the same as it does in cool conditions. So to start off here, let's do a simple boil test. Let's boil up 16 ounces of water and let's see which one of these stoves is the victor. Which one is the fastest? I have my phone for the stopwatch. The stove is ready to go, again with a full can of gas. 16 ounces of water. We will do this with the lid on. This is a rolling boil test. Once steam is shooting out of the top, that's when we will call it. The lid will stay on until it's done. I will turn it on, ignite, full blast, start timer. There we go. We are at 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And 2 minutes, 40 seconds, we are done. For the Soto stove, 16 ounces of water, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. I'm going to dump this out, let the pot cool off, and we will do the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. Which stove do you think will be faster, the Soto or the MSR? Comment down below. All right, everyone, let's do this. The clock has been reset, pot cooled, water in, 16 ounces, fresh can of gas. Let's do this. Two minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. The Pocket Rocket is still going, not a rolling boil yet. Rolling boil now, right at 2 minutes, 58 seconds. So there you have it, everyone. That is the boil test. I tried to make this as fair as possible. I know it's not a scientific test, right? There are some influences here, but it did provide some good information. The Soto stove won with 2 minutes, 40 seconds, whereas the Pocket Rocket Deluxe took roughly 3 minutes. It was 2 minutes, 58 seconds. In the end, does it make a huge difference? No, it doesn't. These stoves are very, very similar, but there are performance aspects which we should talk about, which really do change things in my opinion. As far as performance goes, Soto wins with the boil test. It also wins with price, $65 for the Windmaster, $70 for the Pocket Rocket Deluxe. Size and weight, they're roughly the same, folks. I mean, there's very little difference between these two stoves, size-wise and also weight-wise. Not enough of a difference to notice inside of your backpack, at least. When it comes to actually using the stove, there is a little bit of a difference, and that comes in the terms of the pot supports. With the Soto, this is wider. You can use larger pots and pans with this stove, and it will be more stable than with this one here, with the Pocket Rocket. The Pocket Rocket only has 3 legs, and it doesn't extend as far as the Soto. So that means that you have a little bit less of a stable platform to work with. So the winner for stability is the Soto stove. When it comes to the 2 regulators, namely with like emptier cans, as you're going through your fuel, there's less pressure, the Soto works better. In fact, I've had some issues with the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. With a can that's getting low on fuel, I've had very poor performance from this stove. Whereas the Soto, I have not. The performance from the Soto seems more consistent, in my opinion. Both of these stoves have igniters. While neither is perfect, the Soto is much better than the MSR Pocket Rocket. I've been in situations where I simply have not been able to get this stove to ignite. I would have to use a lighter or a match or something like that. I have never had those sort of issues with the Soto. It may take a click or two, but it's always worked. When it comes to the flame adjuster and how easy it is to turn it all the way up, I'd say it's just about equal with these 2 stoves. I like the resistance on the Soto a little bit more. It just takes a little bit more pressure to turn it, whereas the MSR feels a little bit looser. In the end, I like the feeling of the Soto, but that's a personal preference thing. I'm going to say that's a tie. Now, onto something a little bit more important. What about cooking? I would say this is a tie. Both stoves do great when it comes to full-on boiling water. You can easily turn them down, you could simmer. So in the end, it's a tie. They both perform very, very well in that regards. On to the last topic before passing on my review, my opinion of these stoves and which one I would pick. With the windscreens, they are just about the same. In a light breeze, these work well. In a windy situation, you will need some sort of shield. So it's a tie. In the end, which stove would I personally choose? I like the Soto. It's cheaper, it's faster. I like the pot supports a little bit better. I like the adjuster a little bit better, and the igniter works a little bit better. And now everyone, I want to hear from you all. Make sure to comment down below, which stove do you personally like? From what I understand, the Soto stove has been out on the market longer than the MSR. To me, it looks like the MSR copied this stove here, the Soto. But all in all, these are good stoves. The performance is very similar, size is very similar, but in the end, the Windmaster works just a little bit better, and I like it more. Plain and simple. What do you all think about Soto? What do you all think about MSR? Share your thoughts and also your experiences. If you have experiences with either of these stoves or maybe both, share those with the community. Make sure to hit the thumbs up because it does help. Become a member of the Wolfpack by supporting on Patreon or on YouTube. I do appreciate it. Until next time, everyone, take care, strength and honor. Bye, folks.